Hey guys, welcome back. The Charizard, the Rainbow Charizard. So it seems like whenever there's a Charizard, there is trouble, whether it be at the print facility or a distributor. They're getting leaked everywhere. It seems like there is a Charizard rush coming in. Take a look at that. This boy here showed up. I can't even count how many people sent this to me. It seems like the majority of the work has been done. People have already looked into it. This is essentially the same thing that's happened time after time. So we'll run through it again, and maybe I'll give my thoughts and feelings at the end, so we can, recap what happens in a scenario like this. Oh boy! All right. So if you haven't seen it already, I'll put a little link up above to the video with the stolen alternate art Charizard, where some packs got leaked out. I'm still under the impression that these came from a distributor. The timing and I guess location of this leads me to believe that these definitely came from a distributor. It looks like the Rainbow Charizard was not the same case. I know I've said this a million times, but if something's coming out a month or more in advance, you can pretty much automatically assume that it's stolen, whether it be on the distributor level or from the print facility. There's no shop, and someone's going to argue with me about it, but there's no shop that's going to receive product a month in advance. That's not how it works. Yes, there's a street date, and sometimes that'll get broken. It'll almost always get broken, but not a month in advance. So we have Jose here who accidentally leaked the alternate art Charizard, and now we're going to get into the Rainbow Charizard and the story behind that. So there's a nice post here. I think it was Wailord Enthusiast that posted this in the Discord. Guys, if you haven't joined the Discord, do so. But he was asking that if this was true, and if so, that it would be wild if it was. And from what I'm reading here, this checks out. This seems like exactly what's happened before. So we'll read through. This was a post by Stephen Patrick Shen on Safari Zone Collectibles. And he says, "You guys remember that leaked Rainbow Charizard VSTAR on eBay yesterday? It's story time. When that Charizard leaked on all social media, I went to take a look at it on eBay. Funny enough, that card/seller's location is in Durham, NC. You know what's about 20 minutes from Durham, Millennium Print Group." So yeah, pretty much what we've seen before. Man, I don't know what they're doing over there, but they need to get their shit together, because if I'm gonna say that if the Pokemon Company wasn't so strapped for printing resources, that even like contracts would be at risk. They don't take this thing lightly, and you can see the real struggle from the print facilities themselves to try and track this stuff down, because they want to look good in front of Daddy Pokemon. Because if you lose that contract, it's serious. I mean, that could basically end a print facility, or at least do serious financial harm to them. So the company that prints most Pokemon products in the U.S., I also happen to live in Durham, and I'm part of a few local store Discords. The eBay listing made its way into one of our local Discord channels, and I brought up the fact that someone should meet up with this guy so we can see who it is. My friend, let's call him Dave for the sake of privacy, reaches out to seller to meet up on Sunday, our LCS's weekly Pokemon day, to see the card. The seller agrees. I guess that kind of makes sense why you removed it from eBay. The seller agrees. Dave then reaches out to MPG about the seller, and they promptly email him back with the contact information of their own private investigator that just so happened to be in town tomorrow. Convenient. He might have been there investigating. Dave and the PI figured out a time to meet and set up a sting on the seller who had the Charizard, and reaches out to MPG about the seller, and they promptly email him back with the contact information of their own private investigator that just so happened to be in town tomorrow. Dave and the PI figured out a time to meet and set up a sting on the seller who had the Charizard, and well, they caught the guy. Turns out the guy bought it for $500 from a friend who works at MPG. The investigator confiscated the card, and that guy is now out $500 and potentially facing some serious legal troubles, as this case made it all the way up to the president of MPG. So, I mean, anytime something's stolen from a facility, whether or not you see that they're involved, the president is crapping his pants, because that's big time slap on the wrist from Pokemon, from the Pokemon company, especially in this case where it's cards that weren't even shown in Japanese yet. That's where it gets into like the really, I'm sure there's even more consequences on that end. So what's the lesson here? People who care about this hobby can work together and really make a difference. 100 plus to my buddy Dave for taking time out of his day to catch this MFer. Also, don't be effing stupid. Pictures from some sweet contacts. They're at the Durham police station. Guy on the left is the eBay seller, and the guy you can kind of see on the right is the private investigator. So here we go. I don't know, like the amount of gain that you can get from selling something. Like you're selling a card you're stealing from work for $500, and the amount that you can lose from this is just insane. I know you don't think you're gonna get caught, but they're gonna find out where it came from, especially if you're selling it locally. Like, it just makes no sense at all. Like the trail can be traced back. It is every time. So here we have some more on the post there. Basically just an email from Bob here from Millennium Print Group. Pretty wild. So you can see they take that stuff seriously. Here's the listing itself that's still up, and it's probably only up because the seller ended the listing, because I'm sure if it got flagged enough by... So we'll look at the location here, and it checks out all the information there that came up about Millennium Print Group and the PI. That all makes sense. We've seen that song and dance before for anyone that's watched the previous videos on the stolen Charizards and sets and everything else that's come out. I made videos on it, and it looks like the exact same story. We're just history is repeating itself, and especially tempting, I guess, for the people working there to grab these Charizard cards and flip them for a quick buck. So unfortunately, no crazy stories this time in terms of ladies living in motels and pretending to not know what the cards are and getting them from their late husband and everything else. But just looks like someone stole it from work, sold it to a buddy, and he was dumb enough to meet up with someone and get caught. So, right, location checks out. We got on their job openings here, it basically says exactly where the locations are. We got our Morrisville, NC, and yeah, they're right on top of each other. So the person that stole it from work didn't travel very far to sell it to someone who tried to sell it to someone else right in that area. Couldn't be more obvious. The Jose one, I think, leans more towards the distributor side because it wasn't near any of the print facilities. And also where it's sealed product, I would imagine the sealed product is a little bit harder to steal than the individual cards, which the individual cards just popping up without seeing any opening or anything like that lend it more to be the print facility rather than the distributor. And typically they wouldn't even be printing at least the first wave of this set at this point in time. So that leads me to believe that this is maybe a second wave that they're getting ready for, or maybe these are the packs and stuff that would be in mixed products for later on. Anything that's going out on wave one, I would think would already be at the distributor level or already printed and going to the distributor at this point in time. So that's where I think that we have two different sources here of leaks. It seems people are stealing it from both the distributor and from the print facility. The print facility is going to panic because they don't want to lose their contract with Pokemon. But at the distributor level, they should be even more concerned because there's no there's less of an impact on the Pokemon company themselves if they just cut off a distributor. They can have somebody else distribute it from another location. There's enough of them that they'll just give extra quantity to someone else. And in this market, which even if it's cooling off quite a bit at this point, I'm sure some distributor wouldn't mind the extra volume if they could get it. So just food for thought on that. We have JT here on Twitter. I think a couple other people as well sent me the picture of the Mimikyu. I'm assuming this came from the same location. They both popped up at the same time. I didn't see any listings for the Mimikyu, but I don't know. There was another platform as well. The drip zone where this stuff popped up. Again, if you have this stuff showing up in your group or especially if you're a business, you want to stay away from it as much as you possibly can. 4 Charizard. So it's looking like a 5 Charizard set. I mean, most of this stuff now we can see it in Japanese, but we're looking at another Charizard set similar to like a Flash Fire or something, where we have multiple Charizard chase cards. So it should be pretty interesting to see, because Modern has cooled off quite a bit with these additional waves that have come in. But I still think there's going to be a little bit of a difficulty of getting Brilliant Stars maybe on launch, just that first wave. And then by the second wave, I think they're going to have so much of it that it will be accessible. So if you can't find a ton of it right off the bat, don't worry, be patient. If you don't want to spend the extra money, I'd advise you not, unless you just really can't find anything and you want to open so badly that you don't mind spending the extra cash. So I time after time, and we've gone through this in the other videos, the other stolen Pokemon card videos, but people often ask me, how much trouble will you get in for this stuff? If you're the person that's stealing it, definitely more than someone that's purchased it after that. If you're working in one of these facilities, I never have, but I can't imagine you're not signing some sort of non-disclosure agreement. And I mean, it should be common sense that you can't steal things from work. You're going to lose your job. There's no way you don't lose your job if you get caught stealing from your place of work, especially in a facility like this, where the company has so much to lose by you putting stuff in your pockets, because they have to answer to Pokemon. You have to answer to them. And guess what? If they have to choose one or the other, you can be replaced. Pokemon Company cannot be. So always refer back to the Sword and Shield guidebook scenario. And I'm surprised we haven't seen something like this in the trading card realm, at least not publicly. But the 2 individuals that leaked the Sword and Shield guidebook both got sued for 150,000 USD. So not saying it's going to happen, but I can definitely see that happening with the trading card stuff, especially where this is an ongoing thing. There's no reason that it couldn't happen if they want to set an example, and it might be getting to the point that they have to. So if you're just purchasing it at the same time, there's a very good chance that it's going to be seized from you. Whether or not you get that back later on, I don't know. It probably depends on the scenario. A lot of purchase stolen goods, knowingly purchase stolen goods. You can play dumb if you want, but you know these are stolen if you're paying that much of a premium for something that's not out yet. And yes, even if it's Pokemon cards, it doesn't have to be a bag full of gold bricks in order for you to like purchase stolen goods or a stolen car or something like that. It's still stolen goods. And maybe even worse, because if it hasn't been released yet, there's a little bit more there than just the item itself, more than the cardboard. You can see that by the price tag on it. So it was listed on eBay for $3,000, and the guy that stole it from work sold it for $500 apparently, and then he was going to sell it for more. next person was going to sell it for more. So to say that there's no value there, or there's, it's only a Pokemon card, I don't know. That kind of says otherwise. So, right. How long before they set an example is the ongoing thing here. And the risk is not worth it. I've had tons of people that say, "Oh, you're just jealous." No, I wouldn't take these cards for free. You could give them to me, no charge, no thank you. I wouldn't touch them. It's just not worth the risk. They're going to come out soon anyway. And then another question is, are we going to see these cards pop up with, well, I guess the ones that weren't seized, because if he met up with the card, that one's probably gone off the market now. But maybe that alternate art Charizard, how long before we see it pop up in the CGC stolen, or sorry, not stolen, inadvertent early release label? There's only so many motivations for why someone would actually take the risk and want to buy these cards. I guess the first would be flipping. So if you're going to sell it for more than you bought it for, then that kind of can justify the price. Showing off, and early grading with CGC. And all three of these are great ways to expose yourself as the person that owns it, or the person that stole it, or trace back to the person that stole it. There's no good reason. Like, there's no one that's buying this thing for that much of a markup and sitting at home and just looking at it themselves, because the thing is going to drop in value immensely as soon as the set comes out. So outside of those motivations, there's no reason to want it anyway. That's about it, guys. I don't know. If you have any questions, let me know. If you guys see any more of this stuff. I know I'm a little bit late on this, but I figured it would be a good thing to include. I hear the DMs. No, I don't have any information on the Logan case. We're going to have to wait and see. My best guess is that they're preparing a video for it, or he doesn't want it to overlap with his drink that he's promoting at the moment that had a video already scheduled. So I can assure you, as soon as everyone knows, as soon as it comes out, I'm sure it'll come out. It's got to be a good and entertaining video regardless of the contents of the case. I'm dying to see it, as you can imagine, but yeah, we'll have to stay tuned. So hopefully that's sooner than later. But just an FYI, I'm dying here with the with the DMs asking me what's going on. It's hard to say. There's some information out there, and we can just speculate at this point in time. So you guys have a good time. Join the Discord. We got some very cool people in there. It's really bumping. Take care.